Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Formation Lap Podcast. I am your host, Sam, and I'm also here with.
Kathleen Minty.
And today we're going to talk about Suzuka, or the Japanese Grand Prix, for this weekend's event. So first of all, the track guide. The lap length here is 5.8 kilometers or 3.6 miles. Race laps in real life is 53. In EPR, I believe it's 26. The race distance, though, would be half of 191 miles. Well, this is an interesting fact here. Actually, pole position is on the left side of the track, so it's on the outside, I believe, and the lap record is 1 minute 31, and the fastest lap is 1 minute 28. The maximum speed you can record here is around 203 miles an hour, or recorded here, that is.
Some interesting facts there.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully we can beat the fastest lap.
Yeah. So 66% is actually full throttle here as well, and I can't remember how many turns this Grand Prix has got. If you can clarify.
Has 18.
18 turns. That's very interesting indeed. So after the track guide, we now move on to. After the quick track guide, we'll move on to some drivers' comments. So we've actually had quite a few this time, and starting off with Chapelele. We're not 100% sure if he'll turn up, but if he does turn up, he has turned around and said to us he's just gonna bottle it because there's a bump just before the start-finish straight, and it tricks a lot of drivers out, and well, yeah.
That's very difficult, especially with no traction on.
Yeah, it's actually a make or break race for Chapelele. If he turns up, it's probably crucial he turns up. Let's be honest, because obviously he's now 23 points behind in the standings. Imadi isn't actually turning up tonight, as far as we're concerned, due to personal issues. He didn't specify really, but he has told us he's most likely not turning up tonight. So it's a good chance for Gavin, who's very excited about this weekend, because he knows that he could actually take the lead of the championship after Japan, if things go to plan, that is.
Yeah, and it's gonna be 25% of the season done after this Grand Prix.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be quarter of the season done already.
Yeah, because
we're already into the third race.
Yeah, we only have 12 races, so it's going to be very interesting.
In future, we are obviously going to expand that, because, well, the story of EPR really is it was kind of like, first of all, it was sort of like just this this note thing, or like scrap thing or joke or something.
It was a joke.
It was pretty much a joke, and we just said, why not? Why don't we try and develop this? And we've now got the racing league we got today. We decided to choose only 12 races because, first of all, we just wanted to really experiment. We didn't want to be too hasty or too ambitious in our first season. Although we're seen as quite of an ambitious league, and we're looking to go pretty far and everything in the future, but we just want to keep things a little safe for now. But we can pretty much confirm now that there will be more tracks on the calendar for season 2. Obviously none are confirmed, and that is confirmed as well. We're most likely to have a season 2 at this current point, unless something obviously disastrous happens, which shouldn't. Moving on to another driver's comments. Actually, going back to Gavin said he's really excited for this weekend, but also his battle with Tim. I'm not sure if it was actually Gavin or Tim. I may have got this messed up a little bit. It may have been Tim, but did you know at Austria there was actually a chance we could have never had that fight between Tim and Gavin? Like, honestly.
Yeah. Didn't one person also get like a puncture going into the pits?
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
That's just scary. Let's be honest. But we had actually a poll for Gavin actually as well. Because he said he believes he has a chance of leading the championship going out of round 3, and we put a poll up for some people on the Twitter. Apologies. Can he have a serious title challenge this season? And it was actually joint between still a dark horse or of course he can. So most people think he has got a chance, but who knows?
Just gonna say I voted that he's gonna be a dark horse. So yeah.
Yeah, so we are, like we put in Twitter, we are expecting like 12 to 16 drivers. We might get more. We don't actually currently know yet. We're hoping for around 16, to be honest with you. If we don't get that, that's fair enough, obviously, but currently right now it's looking good for people. Catname Minty, which is you obviously, and Ayrton Senna, they've both got quali bans, so that's helpful for them, isn't it? They're going to be starting at the back.
It's going to be interesting.
It's going to be interesting how they rise up the grid, of course.
Yeah. And me.
We've got a few debuts tonight. Well, hopefully debuts tonight, including Liam JHMC12, JRT Norris, GG Gaming King won't be here tonight, so that's disappointing. Hopefully Aaron JS can finally get his debut underway. Dan Lutini, I can't say it. I'm just gonna call him Dan. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Dan Luton. I'm just gonna call him that because I don't get
Danny Neutron.
Anyway, Lordy will return as well. Hopefully he can make himself have a proper debut this time. But there's a couple of names there. Any that you've got an eye on for the season?
Maybe Plex. He of course has 12 points, which puts him P5.
People who are set to debut.
Oh.
I meant people who are set to debut. We'll move on to that in a second.
Exxon.
Why? Why do you think Exxon is very...
I raised him yesterday in one hub, and he seemed pretty good. So I think he can do good on his debut in EPR.
I think it's going to be interesting for Dan, since obviously he is a world champion in another league, obviously, but he makes his debut tonight. Do you think he could potentially, if he gets this season underway, do you think he could definitely challenge up there?
It would be difficult because we only award 15 points.
And obviously 2 races in.
Yeah, for example, if everybody retires and he gets 2 wins, he will be first. So, because
obviously,
P1...
Let's be honest, that's extremely unlikely.
Then again, it's Japan.
It is Japan.
Very hard track.
Yeah, Lordy MK, a disappointing start to the season for him. Like, very disappointing. Picked up a race ban after an incident with Plix, but he should be returning tonight. If he does return, do you reckon he will put in a different performance?
I don't think he would challenge up the top, but he could be there in the midfield. It's definitely someone to look out for during the race.
So it's a massive impact tonight, actually, because Adib, the championship leader, he's actually not going to be racing tonight, as it looks like, unless further notice. But at this current point, we can confirm that the championship leader, again, like last week with Spyrus, will not be racing. So in all honesty, it's an open affair, and depending on if Spyrus races or not as well, today, it could be very interesting because we could have our third official winner.
We can, of course. Spires Virus doesn't have a tendency to show up a lot.
Well, perhaps, but he did state last week why he wasn't here. This week he hasn't said anything, so I assume he should be here today. He has been active on and off. He hasn't been obviously talking in the chat. He's not really that talkative, if I have to be honest, but he has been on and off and active on Twitter, so that's good news for us personally. Who really needs to get their season starting off like really quickly?
The obvious one, Chaplele, only getting points due to his pole positions.
Yeah, Chappellele and Dylan, they both need to hurry up because they were one of our favourites to take the championship or be going for the championship. But right now they're both bottling it at the moment, and they need to catch up with the pack. And obviously, you know.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't say one to watch out for, but hopefully I can gain positions due
It's
to
going to be difficult. There's I believe only Billy's ahead of you in terms of the midfield pack. I'm saying the midfield pack because there is a 6-point gap between him and the next driver. Do you think you could catch up with that top 6 after today's race? Like, this is talking about you personally.
It will be hard, of course. Great names on the grid. But I think if I get lucky there and there, of course. I saw a clip from Imadi. He flipped a car in Japan.
Yeah, I saw that too.
I've never seen that in league racing, so...
It was a very interesting league race when I saw that. It looked very interesting.
Didn't watch the whole thing, I just saw that clip. But of course, Dylan and Chaparelli contenders for the title. So I think if I keep in the top 10 for the rest of the season, I'll be a very happy man.
Yeah, so a lot of drivers need to uncover and see where they're abouts on the grid. Some drivers obviously who are new, and basically we've talked about pretty much every driver here. And moving on anyway, if I can just get my list up because that's me. Oh yeah, of course, we need to move on to our personal predictions, obviously. So starting with you, have you got any predictions for this race?
I think Super Guy could win it if he doesn't bottle it. Then maybe Tim second. I remember he spun in the US Grand Prix. And then for third place, I think it would be a dark horse. I'm not sure who, but it won't be one of the top guys.
Interesting. I'm gonna be very different to you. I'm thinking Plix will be your winner. I think Gavin will actually be second. I have actually high hopes for Gavin in this race. And I think Super Guy will be third. So once again, I don't actually think Dylan will be on the podium again. I think it'll be another one of those races for Dylan where he's kind of just struggled to make it out of the first couple of laps.
Yeah, it's of course very difficult track, especially the S's in sector 1 and 2. In sector 1.
Very crucial. Are there any names who you think could really surprise us today?
Surprise. Going back to rookie Extan. I think he can shake up the grid a bit.
Yeah, I think that is probably fair to say that. It's telling me New Zealand Cam's Bahrain time for some reason. I'm just scanning over because I can.
Yeah.
Somebody's telling me that he's like slower than me around Bahrain. That's a little bit surprising. Anyway,
He's
enough about that. This is
slower
not
than you
Bahrain.
in Japan, I know that. The last time I checked.
I believe though he actually hasn't got a setup in Japan, so I did use a setup in Japan. Not my favourite track Japan, but anyway. There's also some other names which I think are interesting to look at. I believe Tim, like you said, is interested to look at yourself if you can get up the grid quick. It's going to be interesting
Hopefully.
to look at. Chapelele is only 4 attempts off, but really the top 2 in terms of qualifying, really depending on the weather, really, because Japan, it's a funny one, really. Like we've not seen rain so far, but we have had overcast. Do you think we could receive some rain this weekend, and that could spice the grid up massively?
It would be interesting, of course. It would be a very difficult challenge for the drivers, especially because you can usually go flat out through what's the name of the corner, 30 or 100 on something.
I don't know. I'm not a
Yeah.
Japan expert.
So you would have to lift off there, and of course the bumps on the straight, you can see them so much while you're watching it off board, so it would be very interesting.
Yeah. So, is there anything else you would like to mention, or anyone else you'd like to mention?
Well, I don't think there will be a lot of overtakes in the race, because you need to be really brave around those tracks around Japan. Of course, the widest cars we've seen so far in F1, so that will be a big challenge. Hopefully there's nothing like Alan Prost and Ayrton Senna turn 1 or something like that. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
Yeah, anyway, we're gonna wrap this up because we're probably gone over the 15-minute target that we set every week. But yeah, so I was your host Sam, and I was here with Captain Minty, and we'll see you at the race.